Alright, Simon's Bowblade in Bloodborne. A very unique trick weapon that combines an elegant blade with the ability to shift to range attacks using your collection of Quicksilver powered arrows. And if you happen to run out of those, you can just switch back to your sword for powerful melee attacks. Or, well, that's the thing. Technically, you never run out. At which point you can use your last remaining arrow to slightly scratch things a little bit with the side of the arrowhead, like you're waving your flaccid balloon animal around. Now, why on earth would you ever want to do that? I don't know. Perhaps this is an ancient fighting style known as martial archery. But the thing is that it exists. And that's the only observation that a challenge runner needs to make. So, what would it be like to go through Bloodborne using only a single arrow from Simon's Bowblade? Well, despite the fact that I won't need one, the thought alone leaves me with a quiver on my back. And if this is literally our only way to inflict damage, I suspect that even if successful, we'll end up barely scraping by. Because how much damage could this possibly inflict? Well, I don't have a clue, so it is a shot in the dark and I'm certainly not expecting a bullseye. However, in the world of Bloodborne, things are never what they appear to be. And the more insight you gain, and the deeper you go, an eldritch truth can be hidden beneath the surface. So, as the night progresses, who knows what we will experience when moving along with the arrow of time. Okay then, so the first thing that we need to consider is the damage type of this weapon. When you fire an arrow from your bow, it counts as blood damage, just like bullets from a gun would. However, when using it as a melee weapon, it inflicts standard physical damage. Which is a massive saving grace, fuckalicious. Okay, well, except against dogs, since it doesn't knock them on the ground like a blood damage attack would. But apart from that, the massive positive aspect is that this means that we can boost the damage output with beast blood pellets. And it looks like we're gonna need that, because the damage already drops off before even getting to the first boss encounter. But despite almost getting eradicated along the way, and being rather beamless after a not so seamless drop, you know, I've only been playing this game for like 10 years. And also you need to move as swift as an arrow, otherwise you can get stuck in the environment. But I can at least already upgrade to +2, and sell enough stuff to level up the skill stat, since this weapon's melee attacks, including the arrow one, exclusively skills with skill. I did feel kind of bad selling my hood since I received it from a guy named Robin, but I'll just have Master Willem tell him that we sold it to the poor. Because with a new outfit we can take some additional damage, but I'm going to need as much damage output as I can get. Which is why I also acquired the music box. Not that in and of itself I would get that much additional damage out of it, but after playing it 3 times, Gascoigne will turn into a beast regardless of how much HP he has left. And a lot of his attacks become strafable in that form. After all, I suspect that I will have to hit him many times both with as well as in arrow. Releasing my inner beast, as it's called. That is a term that Father Gascoigne himself, by the way. Deep as lore. Okay, what's the damage? 26! Okay, that's not good. That's a boatload of fuck. 26? Okay, forgive me, Father Gascoigne, for I know not what I'm doing. Okay, this is not good. You can at least attack relatively quickly and you can stack some damage. Should be doable. As long as we don't run out of blood vials, this should be doable. The problem is a lot of his attacks have hyper armor, and of course I can't really stagger him with this. Like that, for example. Generally speaking, one attack, one dash, that kind of works quite well against Gascoigne. I mean, he has a couple of like free hit combos that you have to stay away from, but in general, just as a general rule of thumb, one attack, one dash, works quite well. The problem is, if I'm not close enough, I can't hit him because I have zero fucking reach with this fucking thing. Lamppost, can you not be in the way? Hold on, I have a better idea. This, the annoying part of this fight is that there are a lot of obstacles that can get you in your way. Okay, down the stairs, please. Yeah. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Slowly, but sort of steadily. That's pre-Elden Ring delayed attack. Oh, whoa! And made a large hitbox. Almost there. Dude, I'm the one running out of gas here. If it takes any longer, okay, that's better. Okay. Yeah, it's not an impressive attack per se. That's for sure. Let's hope that we can increase the damage by quite a significant amount. It's a very convoluted one-shot, basically. Yeah, I just killed a boss with a single arrow. Yeah, it certainly comes across that wielding an arrow like a shiv really puts the Rs in archery. But at least now we have the ability to increase our damage with blood gems. Of course, a noticeable difference will take a while. And although I certainly wish that frostbite already existed in this game, so that given the hot weather I would have some arrow conditioning available. But although someone told me that I could buff this weapon with fire paper, they apparently sold me a bunch of hot arrow. Because no, you cannot buff it. Perhaps with the amount of paper available to a millionaire you could. So could Warren buff it? Probably, but poor old me will have to resort to the power of beast blood and pure unadulterated skill. The stat I mean. As this weapon already has a B scaling at +3 and will obtain an actual S scaling at +10. Still, I would expect that it will take blood, sweat and tears to take down the blood-starved beast like this. Well, mainly blood of the cocktail variety, that is. And the result was pretty okay, actually. I mean, the attack is quick and uses little stamina, meaning that even though a single hit does little damage, you can stack quite a bit of it as long as you can keep attacking. Now, of course, after experiencing the unspeakable horror of 1,000 little cuts on her already flayed flesh, said female flayed flesh fiend started flailing frantically with ferocious fervor, yet failing to fuck me up in the process, as I made sure to take a patient approach in her second and third phase, and relied on the high poison resistance of the Gascoigne attire during the automatic poison buildup during her final phase, resulting in a victory without taking a single hit in the process. Yeah, I don't have shoulders, but I should at least be allowed to tap the empty space present here to commend myself on such an achievement. Now, that didn't last very long, because I don't know exactly what possessed me to attack the Beast Rune possessing Beast Possessed Soul, so that I could possess the Beast Rune from said Beast Rune possessing Beast Possessed Soul, which I approached in a perhaps less effective and elegant way. But come on, let's face it, normally you backstab it into oblivion, and the only other specimen exists in the Chalice dungeons that I wisely tend to stay away from. And in hindsight, I'm not even sure if the Beast Rune even made any meaningful difference. But what certainly did were the many twin shards that we now had access to, as well as the benefit of having a triangular gem slot, allowing for an additional damage boost from the chest near the witches. And speaking of which, yes, with a +5 weapon, I might still not be using the sharpest tool in the shot, and with 0 insight I might not be the sharpest tool, but even so, there was at least no concern to even stay sharp during the easiest boss fight in the game. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Son of a witch! Witchy woman. I actually don't really know that song. I'll turn it into my own version. Witchy, witchy woman. Witchy woman. Witchy woman. Witchy woman. That's not gonna be, that wouldn't be a hit. Would be many hits. That's the good thing about having to attack it so many times. You can at least tell which is which. Yeah, you see, this is the second one because it's not that bloody. Oh wait, wait, huh? Is that not true? Oh no, I still can't tell which is which. I am doomed. I am doomed. Even when I think I can tell which is which, I still cannot tell which is which. Okay, well this no, this is also still. What the fuck? What the hell is this? Well, at least since I do low damage, I can make sure that I don't kill the first one too quickly. Oh fuck! No, I did kill. Oh no. I killed the witch. And now I'm getting some eye surgery before LASIK was invented. You see how much health she still has and how very little I have? I died against the witches with 0 insight cheese going on. It's not good during a heat wave. Well, we always ask where is the witch. And we also ask which is which. But we never ask how is the witch. And that has a lot to do with the fact that I absolutely could not care less. So I just needed to arrow out my grievances. Now she is. Okay, where is the other witch? Oh, well, there you go. She didn't even do anything. Okay. I think that's fair enough. Hey, they killed me twice. I killed them also twice because there are 2 of them. So I killed them. I killed 2 of them. So that's twice the kill. English. Yeah, let's do it like this. Yeah, time for Amelia. Okay, I'm curious. Oh, that is... Yeah, okay. Okay, could be doable. With enough beast blood build up and some broken limbs. Okay, it's actually... I think it's going to be doable. This is pretty good. I said +5 weapon against Amelia. Decent gems. Beast blood, of course, double damage on broken limbs. Oh, and of course if I don't break mine, I think it's doable. Okay. Yeah, let's keep attacking broken limbs, because she's now going to probably heal. No, Amelia, I have fought you before with... oh, okay. You know what? I'm not going to boast. I'm not going to boast. I'm holding a bow, but I'm not boasting. Hey, what the hell? She just grabbed me. Hey, I only need one more hit. Come on. What the hell? I just need one more hit. That's better. Jesus. Oh, hey, it's a good thing I leveled up my health. Otherwise, I would have died there. Okay, but of course the shadows are next, and they can be a pain in the... The shadows can be a pain where the sun don't shine. I think that's a pretty accurate description of the shadows of Yharnam. A more subtle way to put it is that dealing with 3 separate AIs all at once can be quite a tall ladder to climb. And speaking of tall ladders, it won't be that long until we get a completely remade and renewed version of the iconic Snake Eater ladder climbing section at the end of August. Which I somehow thought would be appropriate to mention at this point. But that aside, by going to Cainhurst early on, you can acquire quite an intense increase in power before taking on the dreaded Shadows encounter. And without throwing any shade, and to rephrase my previous comment about them, by doing so I might indeed have made them unable to endure my skewer when I stick it where the sun don't shine. That's actually quite good. I mean, if you can get multiple attacks in at least. Oh, ooh, of course, I don't have any reach. Wow, that's actually... Is it just me or is that high? What the fuck? Dude, this is not bad at all. This is not even remotely bad. Oh, whoa, but that is bad. Hold on. I said hold on, don't you hear me? Oh, ooh, okay. Well, the thing, of course, damage output is not everything in this fight. Damage input is also very relevant to consider. But of course, another issue is the transition period you want to get rid of the katana shadow as quickly as possible, and I'm not sure if that's gonna work out. Well, I definitely have to pop a beast blood pellet there and hope for the best. Okay, a little more. Okay, that was nice. Oh, nice, very nice. No, that worked out perfectly. Awesome, that worked out perfectly. Perfect RNG there. That's a good thing that this attack doesn't use a lot of stamina. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not get too overconfident now. Yeah, let's not waste... if I die now, then I wasted that perfect RNG. Sidestep strat should work. What the fuck? I die I die against the witches 2 times. This weapon works very well against the shadows. How is that possible? It actually works well. At the start of the run, would you have expected that the shadows of Arcanum would have been easy with this wimpy little shitty arrow swipe attack? Because I didn't. I didn't expect that. Holy hell. So, basically if you want to cheese the shadows, then you simply have to use the arrow swipe from Simon's Bowblade. Okay, how the hell is any of this even possible? I'm wielding a little cocktail skewer. But in addition to a pickle and a pickled onion, you can add a little block of cheese to it apparently. Because it is starting to feel almost disgustingly effective. And even in a situation where you would think that the tiny hitbox would be a problem, I could still effectively spike rum like an entomologist and lobotomize the hell out of amygdala. Now sure, it required a bit more precise spacing and timing, or for the physicist among you, space timing, but I even managed to keep the one reborn down on the ground for the entire freaking fight. And there's not much meat left there that can be scraped off those bones in the first place. After the pitiful AR that we experienced during the Father Gascoigne fight, our DPS has now skyrocketed seemingly out of thin air. Evidently in the last 10 years I have been playing this game completely wrong. If you want to reject something, just swipe right. Not to mention that unless hyper armor is at play, this attack does in fact have a tremendous amount of stunlock potential that I never expected it to have. And after upgrading it to plus 10 and obtaining the most powerful gems in the main game, despite not actually using a bow, I was stringing up every one of my foes left and right. And maybe you the viewer don't get the point by now, but they certainly did. What the hell, this was supposed to be a challenging challenge run. How is a wimpy little attack like this good? But come on, certainly some of the late game bosses will not end up quivering and shivering from our quiverless shiv. I guess we're going to find out, but if I can build up Beast Blood on the multiple at the same time, then probably not. As I was saying, Jesus, I'm just slaughtering them. Dude, what the fuck? How many times do I have to say it? This attack needs to be nerfed. Well, against the big one it's not that effective simply because you don't get opportunities to keep attacking. Huh? What the hell? Why was he falling on his knees? That was weird. Huh? I never saw that. That was weird. He was doing this sort of prayer move. I think that is the weird thing that he does. I don't know if it's a healing thing, but it's something he does rarely. And I hit him and he fell on his knees. That looked very weird. Yeah, it's like I broke his leg. Yeah, I've never seen that before. There's a completely new animation. That is interesting. Classic press challenge. It's either complete ass or busted as hell. Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. Normally, I jump through windows out of frustration. Maybe now I have to jump through a window out of frustration because things are going too smoothly. Well, as I said before, in the world of Bloodborne, one thing that you learn is that things are not what they appear to be. And this is yet another example of that, I suppose. Alright. A Bright is up close with no range. Come on, this has to be a bad weapon in this fight. There's no other way. I can actually still hit her head if I simply angle upwards a bit. Ah, range is a problem. I can't really see anything. I'm getting flashbacks to my very first playthrough where I was stuck between a tail and it just kept going. This is literally what happened in my very first playthrough. Oh, now it stopped. Can someone explain to me what's even the point of shooting an arrow? If you can just slightly nudge stuff with it. Or why do bows exist? All you need is an arrow. You don't need a bow. Why? Yeah, this is what you do, shooting. What's the point? What's the point of this? All you have to do is... Whop. 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 I would be nerfing myself if I simply start shooting arrows instead. This is so ridiculous. This is the realest playthrough I've ever done. Well, the only optional main game boss remaining is Laurence, who already was a martyr before he took his throne. The reason he sat down in the first place was because walking with his cane hurts. But what hurt him much less was when, out of curiosity, I tried out my then current damage output during my first trip here. And comparing the two demonstrates quite well how much it has increased by then. Regardless, my standard tactic to make Laurence backstep continuously during his first phase doesn't really work as well with this attack as it does with standard saw cleaver R1s, but despite that, it also didn't take long before reaching his second phase. And there, my usual backstab approach obviously wouldn't even be an option in the first place. So, would my arrow finally miss the mark? Or is even the chilling cold upon this roof insufficient to cause the OPness that I'm firmly holding by the shaft any significant amount of shrinkage? And yes, wholly apart from the Archer paradox, I am quite aware of the Challenge Runner paradox, where inflicting normal damage, or not even inflicting normal damage, can already make you feel like you are too powerful. Oh, whoa, I'm getting really sloppy here. I hit him in the air? Okay. With this reach, I hit him in the air? That's the last thing I expected. But of course, in this playthrough, nothing is happening the way I expected it. I guess, if nothing else, we simply discovered a new cheese method. So, we have a new battle build. There you go. I am Queen Quiver, the most powerful being in all of Yharnam, who can destroy everything with only a single freaking arrow. The true quivering that is happening is the quiver on the backs of my enemies, who fear my pointy little stick, my tiny little OPness that I hold in my hand with a firm grip, and that I slap them in the face with. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, she's immortal. At this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if this could kill her. That even immortal beings just get annihilated with the arrow swipe. Yeah, I know that I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's simply because of the contrast of what I expected this attack to be and what it actually is. And as we arrowhead into the DLC, you can see that instead of one of the worst attacks in the game, it more or less comes down to a sort of oversimplified dagger. Limited reach, but it allows you to be quick, nimble, consume little stamina, while outputting some impressive DPS. In fact, my Arrowhead was stronger than Ludwig's Horsehead. I rarely even managed to do that with a regular weapon. Now, unfortunately, because I can't make use of visceral attacks, that was one gift horse that I had no choice but to look into the mouth. Well, we do have to keep things fair, be straight as an arrow. After all, I merely have to face an ancient multiversal sword imbued with arcane moonlight of cosmic power, whereas Ludwig has to endure getting slightly nudged a little bit by the tip of my pointy stick. So in the end, who really is the one getting the shaft? On a side note, I still think that it would have worked better if Ludwig had been a female instead, because then we could have faced off against a nightmare inside of a nightmare, ponying a pony. Well, regardless, one thing that we can agree on, he looks pretty unstable. Swipe and avoid his swipes. Ow, ooh. To the side, yeah. Okay, that's really greedy. That was really greedy, but it worked out. Well, I can do a visceral, of course. Well, if you want to have an easy time with Ludwig, just swipe him with an arrow. Not even the DLC bosses can stand up to this. How the hell is the lamest attack in the game just so damn good? Yeah, it's the butt scratcher run, but yeah, it scratches an itch, but it's not the itch that I was looking for to scratch. Okay, let's see what Living Pillars have to offer. Hoe gaat dat weer? Ik kom de Smurfenland, welkom allemaal. De Smurfenland, smurf mee met het verhaal of zoiets. The Smurfs. Without their cute little hats, of course. Oh, hey, hello. Okay, just stay away from me there, please. It's like stacking a cheese tactic upon another cheese tactic. Unfortunately, now I have to move away. But at least my beast blood meter is still up. Get a few swipes in. Beast blood pellet, very nice. Stay away from me. Oh, already? That was quick. I act surprised, but I shouldn't be. Oh, whoa, 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 hey, hello. That did surprise me. And rightfully so. Well, it is safe to say I have a new favorite weapon, and it's Simon's Bowblade. But not for the reasons you think. I wish Lemon was present, because this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Come on, raise the roof, guys. Time for a party. They're not in the mood for... Ah, now they are in the mood for a party, good. And... Oh, I thought I already won. I wanted to say it's time for me to party because I won. Now it's time for me to party. There you go. Wow, I managed to smurf the Headless Smurfs faster than any Smurf has ever smurfed before. Well, that's one of the easiest Living Failures fight I've had before. I've had. Come on, Maria. You should be able to put up a fight. It almost looks like she already got an arrow through the heart. Actually, in the cut content, it was Simon who killed her. You know, Simon from Simon's Bowblade. So I guess we're just reenacting the cut content in a sense by giving her a whole bunch of small little cuts. Ah, shame, I can't really build up my beast blood meter. So I very rarely actually get extra damage from it. The thing is, it does give you a damage boost basically if you only have a single... as long as the meter is visible, basically. But not if it's literally zero. Still, I have more than enough of them, so I might as well use them. Uh-oh. Oh. Careful. Oh, that was my first hit. Wow, I went to her third phase without taking a hit. That's not bad. And now, of course, we have the giant flame hitboxes. And that's a bit annoying. That's why you usually go for backstab opportunities. Oh, ooh. That was no good. But nothing that she did was good enough. Yeah, I can't believe it either, Sean. I can't believe it either, but it is very much... Your eyes are not deceiving you. I fully understand why you think you're hallucinating or something, but yes, this is literally what is happening. Arrow, row your boat gently down the stream. Where exactly is Simon's outfit? Because I actually don't know that. I think it's that. Yes, yes it is. Also, why does there this weird bag on the back of his back? Why does he have a weird bag on the back of his back? It doesn't even look like an actual backpack. It looks like just a weird bag on the back of his back. Maybe it's something that helps to tell you which is which, but it still looks to me like a weird bag on the back of your back, rather than a backpack. Yeah, Simon is a fool. He uses his weapon the wrong way. That's exactly correct. The reason he's facepalming is because I'm using his weapon like this, and he realizes that he never used it correctly. Simon, that is not how you use a bow. Look, I know you're not looking. I know you can't look, but here, this. This is how you do it. Not this. This makes no sense whatsoever. Why the hell would you do that? By the way, also, the arrow... Look at this. The arrow looks bigger on the bow than in your hand. That's weird. It looks longer when you fire it. And thinner. Very strange, but okay. Well, unlucky for us, before Cos died, she got apparently knocked up. And even if I could strike with the back of my arrow, I still wouldn't be able to knock down her orphan. Because as suitable as it might be as a back or butt scratcher, it is completely incapable of backstabbing. And here's the thing, I can't even remember the last time that I fought Orphan without either going for backstabs exclusively, or at least use backstab opportunities as attack opportunities, also pretty much exclusively. At the very least in the second phase. And that was not an option this time. So hey, what do you know? We finally got a challenge. Yay! And you know what? That is a good thing. Because so far, I've only died against the witches. Twice. So I think it's time to bring back some normalcy to this run. Is this real life or fantasy? In fact, you could say that this is simply the normal way to fight Orphan. You know, not the whole arrow part, but finding openings between any of his attacks. Which reminded me why fishing for backstabs had become the standard for this encounter. Because Orphan doesn't really have that many attack opportunities, now does he? At least not really safe ones, per se. Ooh. Get him away from those rocks, because that can cancel his animation. If you remember the Kirkhammer Charge 2 run, where I suddenly died because of his animation cancelling. Let's keep him away from those rocks. So close yet so far away. Come on, a few more hits. Ah, I got him! Ah, I got him! I wasn't even sure that would kill him, but I was like, let's just sneak an attack in there. Okay, there we go. Ah. Well, that's quite a different... that's quite a different experience, fighting Orphan without backstabbing him. I guess similar to fighting Gwyn without parry. We finally got a challenge. We finally got a challenge. And we managed to get through it. Now, of course, even after striking the Orphantasm left behind on the corpse of his mother, in order to slay the nightmare, the DLC is not finished yet. And most of the time, Laurence gives me more trouble than Orphan does. But it's only sometimes most of the time, and this time is not that time. Because for this fight, I am not restricted by a gimmick like backstabbing. No, my divine Arrowhead supersedes the head of the church himself. And when you're able to consistently get damage in, Laurence doesn't have a leg to stand on. You will sweep him off his feet and or sweep his feet off. And you know, I welcome that. Because dying repeatedly against this boss quickly turns into a game of Laurence and repeat. And with this kind of run back, it's not exactly a straight shot back to the boss. Although, by the way, on a side note, it's not even correct to say that Laurence was the head of the church, in the sense of him being the founding member. Or him being the first vicar in the sense of being the first active leader in the church. No, he actually died before the church was founded in the first place. And he died while he was still human, not a beast. That came after his death. And his burial was depicted in the Church of the Good Chalice. And his, albeit temporary, resting place was the Chalice Dungeons. Yeah, how about that? You can knock me over with a feather. And speaking of which... Hey, I just realized, there are no feathers on the end of the arrow. Normally an arrow has feathers at the end, but this one doesn't. Well, to be fair, this arrow deserves a feather in its cap for being this amazing. Ah, it has no feathers as a hint to not shoot it. That's a good point. That is a good point, Lucas. Also, massively missed opportunity. Simon's outfit is called the Harrowed Garb. It should have been called the Arrowed Garb.
Haha!
Come on, From Software, it was so easy. Or maybe it's like French, where you don't pronounce the H. It's like Arrowed. Arrowed Garb. Look at the power of the arrow. There you go. We should pretend that it was unupgraded. If that doesn't demonstrate the immense power of the arrow, then I don't know what else could do it.
Tonight, Gammon joins the hunt.
Well, given that I'm not using my bow, you would think that Gurman would be at an advantage, because I'm missing quite a bit more than merely the lower limb. But other than getting a little dizzy dodging around him like this, and sometimes having trouble actually hitting him, I still managed to get a grip. And I even experienced something new. The turnaround AI manipulation in his first phase, rather than merely in his second phase. And when it comes to his second phase, although I did not experience a full stun lock, in principle that would have been possible if he had been stuck against the wall earlier on. Unfortunately, once he gains the aura around him, my attacks can no longer make him flinch. That does not imply that he can turn things around. But I can make him turn around, quite effectively so. And thus, although the night was long, it didn't take long before Gurman was no longer a concern. Out of sight, out of mind. And technically I did forget to consume all the necessary umbilical cords, but in this case that didn't matter, because the sheer power of my celestial arrow can easily repel the influence of any Lovecraftian Great One. He tried to absorb the ultimate power and he failed. Understandably so. The flaming spaghetti move, as I would like to call that. But not even flailing spaghetti can win against the almighty arrow. Somehow I thought that that this was basically a harder version of the Fist of Gratia run. That's what I thought. That was my expectation. And it turned out to be just a very powerful, essentially a sort of dagger build, sort of, so to say. It's kind of like a dagger build, but not, yeah, but a very limited moveset. But that's all you need. That's all you need. All you need to do is to swipe right. If you want to dismiss something, swipe right. Oh, I actually broke his arm. Oh, fuck. That was the wrong direction. Ow. Hey, it carried over. Okay, that's interesting. Fantastic camera, by the way. Oh, I almost died there. But he completely died, so that's fine with me. When you're holding the almighty arrow, sometimes you die almost. But everything else dies completely. What an unusual playthrough.